Collabs are an integral part of Fortnite, so much so that we can't go 20 minutes without a collab season being shoved down our throats. Collabs keep Fortnite relevant, let's just say it how it is. Sure, Reload and Blitz and the new BR seasons keep players engaged, but the collabs keep people outside of the Fortnite space interested in the game. It's no wonder Call of Duty are trying to do collabs. Keyword is trying. But not all of Fortnite's collabs can be remembered. We've just had so many, all of which varied in size and quality over the course of 8 years that you just can't remember all of them. But today we're gonna go over the top 15 most forgotten collabs in Fortnite history in no particular order. If you enjoyed today's video, then consider subscribing and using code BigCraigd in the Fortnite item shop. And if you want to be shouted out in videos as well as gain a bunch of other exclusive perks, then be like these guys and become a channel member for just $2.99 a month. What a steal. The Wreck-It Ralph collab was a weird one. If you've been here a while, you may remember me talking about this collab in my worst Fortnite collabs video. So that's how you know this is a good one. The Wreck-It Ralph collab occurred during Chapter 1 Season 6 when Wreck-It Ralph 2 was releasing. The reason you probably don't remember this collab is because all it was Ralph the boy himself running into Risky Reels' screen, doing a little wave and running off. Oh, and also we got a free emote that never came back. Yeah, while the collab was alright in terms of quality, it wasn't really anything special. Especially because 2 seasons prior, we just had the Thanos transformation game mode, which for some reason Epic seems to love doing these days. Like we've had Thanos, Doom, Godzilla, Star Destroyer, Superman, Megazord, we're getting it all, huh? The Wreck-It Ralph collab wasn't bad, but if you weren't clued into the game and what was happening behind the scenes, you probably would have no idea what was happening. Which kind of defeats the purpose of a collab, doesn't it? Next we've got a collab which I actually really enjoyed. Tenet. This released during Chapter 2 Season 3, and originally the Tenet trailer premiered in Party Royale, rest in peace. I remember waking up really early one day with my brother so we could watch this in Fortnite. It was really fun. But that's not all. At some point during Chapter 2, if you went to a specific area in Steamy Stacks, you could hear some ominous ARM music. It was weird. But if you followed the music and dug down, you could find a secret room with an object in it. What was this object? What was it doing there? I have no idea. My brother is watching Tenet at some point this year, so I'll let you know when he knows. What else happened for the Tenet collab? Nothing. They didn't add any skins or gameplay items or whatever. It was just Party Royale premiere and an Easter egg on the map. I'm not sure why, but this collab feels better than the Wreck-It Ralph collab despite them being very similar. You think we're going to be keeping this list inside of the gamer world, huh? No way, buddy. We're going outside for this one. Fortnite Nerf guns are a thing that exist. And I hate it. They have a bunch of guns from the game, like the grenade launcher, the Scar, the janitor, heavy sniper, P90, pump shot. The colors are all wrong. I don't get it. Why are they just random saturated colors? Are they worried that the toddlers that use these weapons will look at the Scar and go,
well, no, I'm not using that. If it was some kind of puke yellow color, then maybe.
Even when they're trying to be accurate to the color design of the game, it's like a Fortnite YouTube video thumbnail, the way the colors and the saturation are. But what makes it worse is that for whatever bloody reason, the regular tactical shotgun has its normal colors and so do the flare gun. Oh, okay. So you guys can make accurate gun models, you just don't want to. I would actually consider buying some of these if the weapons actually look like they did from the game and not like vomit from the YouTube algorithm. I hate it. Quibi. Oh god, Quibi. From one disaster to the next. Quibi was a live in-game event during Chapter 2 Season 2. At certain times, if you landed at Risky Reels, an episode of a brand new series streaming out of flippin' Quibi would play on the screen. The event was a disaster. Audio was too quiet, builds were still enabled, braking was still enabled, loot was still enabled, weapons were still enabled. It was awful. I played this event multiple times with my brother. Why we did this more than once is beyond me. But I had so much fun during this event because of how terrible it was. I did to have been the #1 Quibi fan coming in to watch this event while sipping out of his Quibi cup and then seen this absolute disaster that came afterwards. The Ghostbusters collab released in Chapter 2 Season 4 for Fortnite. The collab itself is actually pretty decent, specifically everything but the skins. I guess they just couldn't get the license to use the likeness of any of the Ghostbusters because they did that thing where they give us default skins in Ghostbuster outfits. And most of them weren't even cool. There were like maybe 1 or 2 good ones and the rest of them sucked. I usually judge these default skin collabs based on whether they got a Jonesy one, and yeah, do you see him? Didn't think so. Kelsier, I think I'm saying that right, is a character from Donald Mustard's favorite book, Mistborn. I don't know if it's still his favorite book, we haven't spoken in a while. The collab was simple, a skin, that's all. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that Kelsier was brought into the game in 2021, and do you know when he was last seen in the shop? 2021. Yep, Kelsier is one of those collabs we used to frequently get where they would just release in the shop a few times and then would never be seen again. You know, like Kratos or Aloy or Nathan Drake or Arcane or Venom or Cause or Cobra Kai or Dude or Resident Evil or Alan Wake or Assassin's Creed or Mike Lowry or Optimus Prime or Gears of War. The Mistborn collab was forgotten because it wasn't in a big enough series in the Fortnite space for anyone to initially recognize it, and then to follow up on that they never brought it back, which in turn made the collab completely forgotten. Speaking of collabs that never came back, Gilded Guy. One of the more popular Fortnite collabs in Chapter 2, Gilded Guy was one of the first indie characters to ever come to Fortnite. He was a skin that released in the item shop to promote the Fort Shorts event, which was held in Party Royale. They were so fun, I'm so sad they stopped doing them. There was also a premiere for a new Gilded Guy short film during the Fort Shorts event, and it was a really, really great. Ask anybody about the Gilded Guy collab and they'll reminisce like I'm doing. but they never brought it back. It has been over 1,000 days since Gilded Guy has been seen in the item shop, and that makes me sad. Not because I don't own the skin, are you kidding me? Of course I bought it. But because that means that more people can't unlock the skin, and it means that this great collab and the physical representation of the Fort Shorts event is going to be forgotten. Fortnite Monopoly. It's Monopoly, but Fortnite. I tried playing this with my family, but my mum hated it. That's all I remember from this, really. Oh, and there were like little back blings of Monopoly characters, and that was cool. Moving on. The Among Us collab was a weird one. The collab was birthed out of bad blood between Inner Sloth, the creators of Among Us, and the Epic Gamers. What? This collab was birthed out of bad blood between Inner Sloth, the creators of Epic Games, and What am I saying? The collab was birthed out of bad blood between Inner Sloth, the creators of Among Us, and Epic Games, the creators of Fortnite. Why am I explaining this to you? Fortnite released the Imposters game mode, which was obvious to everyone that it was just a rip-off of Among Us, and what's worse, it was a fun rip-off. Those are the ones you gotta look out for. Among Us devs were like, oh man, that's a shame. We reached out to Fortnite a while ago to collab and they ignored us, and now they did this. Oh, dang it. And then the two of them did this weird PR thing where they pretended to go into each other's DMs. It was so weird. And then a few months later, we got the Imposters back bling and the Distraction dance that you could get in the item shop, but you could get it cheaper buying it in Among Us. And then mysteriously, the Imposters game mode was removed from the game a few months later, and now mysteriously, the Among Us back bling and the dance was never once returned. They were in the item shop for a week in June of 2022 and was never seen again. If you ask me, I think the Imposters game mode was supposed to be permanent, but as part of the agreement between Inner Sloth and Epic Games, they removed it from the game silently while directing people to play Among Us. This is a weird collab. I don't like thinking about it. The Fortnite Hasbro collab was one for me. I love this collab. They would release 6-inch figures of Fortnite characters. They had Midas, Rex, Jules, Menace, Lynx, Condor. It was so fun. They also had a sub-series called The 7 series. The first addition to this series was The Scientist. You could change his faceplates, and he even had a little button on him that you could light up his faceplates. Although, I wish they never added it because his faceplates kept falling off and I lost one of his faces, so now he's just an empty husk of who he once was. And they also released one for the Foundation. The Foundation one did always look a tiny bit off, especially compared to The Scientist, whose design-wise was perfect. But for whatever reason, not only did the 7 series stop after the Foundation was released, but the entire Fortnite Hasbro line was shut down. For what reason? I have no idea. What's worse is that Agent Jones was supposed to get a figure. I hate it here. The Doctor Who collab was a weird one. It was a fake collab, but also a real one, but also a third-party creative map, but also... From what I understand, the third-party creative map developer created a Doctor Who-themed map and worked with Fortnite to import a spray into the game, so players who did a thing in the creative map got a spray. I put a lot of research into this video. The Matrix collab was both kinda cool and lame. It was just emotes and a wrap. No skins, no nothing. On one hand, the emotes and wraps were great, but on the other hand, where are my skins, man? It also hasn't been back in like 9 million years, so that combined with the lack of skins made everyone kind of forget it happened. I don't know why they couldn't just use Keanu Reeves, considering his likeness is already in the game, but hey, I won't get political now. Battle Breakers was a game made by Epic Games. It collabed with both Fortnite Battle Royale and Fortnite Save the World. Save the World got heroes and a weird quest line that won't go away no matter how many times I search an arcade, and BR got skins. The reason this was kind of forgotten wasn't because the skins don't return that much, in fact, they come back quite regularly. It was because Battle Breakers shut down some time ago, and the only remnants of the game can be found in Fortnite. So I guess they're Fortnite originals now. The same thing happened with one of the most triggering weapons in Fortnite history, the Infinity Blade. This was released during Chapter 1 Season 7 as part of the Ice King's arsenal. As Polar Peak thawed, the Infinity Blade was revealed. It was broken, ruined everyone's days, and was removed very quickly after it was released and never seen again. Apart from in Creative and the Involting event. And Blitz. The Infinity Blade as an item was taken from an Epic Games game known by the same name. Unfortunately, the game was also shut down, and the remnants of the game can only be found in the Fortnite Infinity Blade item. What a legacy. Finally, the last forgotten Fortnite collab today is the Destiny 2 collab. And no, I don't mean the skins that come back to the shop every few months or so, or literally like 2 days ago. I mean the Destiny 2 Fortnite skins. Destiny 2 is one of the only times a Fortnite character has appeared outside of Fortnite, unless you count this fucking thing. There was a Drift skin, which actually looks pretty cool, a Black Knight skin, which for some reason has a very round head, and finally Oblivion, who is the female Omega skin in Fortnite. Despite this collab happening over 3 years ago, my sources tell me that these skins are still available in the game. I'll have to get into Destiny 2 at some point to take a look, but these skins were mainly forgotten because, well, we weren't used to Fortnite skins appearing in other games. Well, that's it from me. If you enjoyed today's video, then there'll be a funny card on the screen taking to a video like this one, but better. Also, consider subscribing and using code BigCraigd in the Fortnite item shop. I need your money. Bye.